Hello, my name is Owen. Today I'll be doing a quick review of S.N. Kashyap's Bonds, Chronicles of Desi Grad Students. What I want to do is give a brief overview of what the book's about, tell you things that I like, and tell you things that I didn't like. As for the overview, this is a collection of 5 short stories, all following different Desi grad student protagonists on a variety of different adventures in a variety of different genres. Some of them are comedy, some are drama, some are romance, some are mystery, but all of them relate to this theme of like the bonds you have with your family or your found family, your friends, and your lovers. And each of the story explores these bonds in completely unique ways. And before we get down to the nitty-gritty, allow me to give you a quick disclaimer. I was given a free copy of the book from the author himself. However, you guys know me. For these types of reviews, I want to give it to you straight. I don't want to tell you an opinion that's not actually mine. I will be giving my complete, honest, genuine reactions to this book. And my reactions were that I absolutely loved it. As for going into this book, I was a little bit worried that I wouldn't be able to relate to it or wouldn't be like for me, quotation marks, because I'm not from India. I am not an immigrant and I'm not a grad student. So I thought that this like very specific look at a specific group of people in America would be like outside of my purview, right? I wouldn't be able to connect to it. I wouldn't be able to understand their struggles or what exactly they're going through. However, as a testament always to great writing is always able to connect you to something that you're unfamiliar with and allow you to empathize, allow you to connect with these characters. And that's exactly what happens in every single one of these stories. The author presents his culture and the culture of these characters in such a genuine, casual, yet informative way that I found myself not only learning about how these Desi grad students live their lives and what their experience is like when they're going to grad school in America, but just also about like Indian culture in general. And one of my favorite things about the book is the glossary on the back where the author puts various terms that like someone like me would have no idea like what they're referencing. And instead of like having the characters like disingenuously explain what they're saying to like a white guy audience, the glossary is there so that these characters can have natural, realistic conversations that they would be having. And someone like me who maybe doesn't know what those terms mean, it's all right there, right? So I think that this story would be great for people who have lived through this experience or have more of a personal connection to this experience. But someone like me, it allowed me to immerse myself in this culture that I really knew nothing about in a way that felt natural and felt genuine and in a really enjoyable way. In terms of the writing style, like I said, these stories take a variety of genres. One of my personal favorite specific genre stories was Triple Hex, which is like the second or third story, I believe, which is comedic in tone. And after reading the first one, which is a little bit more serious, a little bit more straightforward, I was like gobsmacked by the ability of this writer to switch tones on a dime on the next story, and it was genuinely funny and it was genuinely entertaining. But my favorite parts of all these stories is the very common romance thread. A lot of these stories about love, or you don't think they're about love, but they end up being about love. And the author has a very simplistic but also natural way of just conveying emotions. Like there's some endings to the short stories where like it's fairly straightforward. It's like, will they, won't they? And then the end is this like classic end of a rom-com, happy ending. Like you just feel like so happy for it. The only major problem I had with the story was the format itself. I'm not typically a short story reader. Listen, guys, I prefer mountain-sized books, like thousands of pages, because I like to immerse myself in the world and the characters and the relationships and the plot. So short stories aren't normally my jam, and I think that it's a personal problem for me, but it also like hurt me a little bit that after every story, I was wishing that there was 50 pages more as a minimum, because some of these stories, they are only like 30 or 40 or like 50 pages long, and I don't think it's a surprise that my favorite story in all of them is the title story, Bonds, which is around like 100 pages. Because it led me the most time to like really connect with the protagonist and connect with his relationships. And I felt that the romance in that story felt the most natural and it felt the most developed because we had more time with his characters. So I guess my complaint is that I wish that there was more. But in reality, I'm so impressed that this is a debut collection from this author, because the writing style is incredibly easy to read. It's incredibly engaging, and I think the most important thing for any kind of writing is that it connects to someone on a deep level, right? It reaches out to your hearts, because I feel like all the technical stuff, all the story structure stuff, it comes naturally if you have the emotional core, and that's by far the strongest aspect of every single one of these stories. I never felt for a single story that these characters weren't created with love, and they didn't exude like an optimistic, like I don't even know how to explain it, right? A lot of these stories are very, very grounded. They feel like they could have been stories that the author himself experienced, and he even says in his writings, like in the back of the book, that many of them are inspired by real events or people that he knew, and it just shows in like it just shows in the characters that they just feel realistic and they feel grounded and they feel like people that love and then loss and hurt. And that sounds like a little bit pretentious, all right, guys, but it just really connected with me. And it's not like this is the most like complexly, like poetically written piece of work, because it's not. It's like I said, it's simplistic writing, but it knows what emotion it's going for, and it's very focused in that emotional core, which makes it so strong and so easy and engaging to read. You guys know me. I love reading books by indie authors. I'm blown away by what new unpublished authors can do, and I'm just stunned that this is a debut book, to be honest with you. As always, for these types of reviews, I'm going to leave an Amazon link to the book in the description of the video, but I also have a link to the author's Facebook page where he kind of goes deeper into like his writing process and maybe some like inspirations for characters and stuff like that. So I'm going to link that as well in the description. And thank you very much for sending me a copy of the book. It was a fantastic read, and I genuinely, had I read this book a couple weeks ago, I think it would have made it into my top 5 books of the year so far. That's how much I loved it. And like I said, my greatest complaint is just write a full-length book for me, please. I would, you've earned yourself a fan. I'll read whatever you write next, but come on, a full-length mystery as well. I think it'd be good. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. All right. Be sure to like and subscribe if you like the video. And if you like these kind of reviews in the future, thanks for sticking around.